Hi everyone, so for my final paper presentation, I did Mary Shelley versus Tim Burton. For my paper analysis, I used Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and Tim Burton's Frankenweenie. The critical theory I used was the psychoanalytic theory to compare and analyze the two versions of Victor Frankenstein in each, and how they each responded to their grief in different ways. I chose this because Mary Shelley's Frankenstein has always been a personal favorite of mine. I think it's very unique and cool that so many different people have took her original work and were inspired to create their own version of it. Tim Burton's is also one of my personal favorite movies. Frankenweenie, I think his aesthetic is just very, very interesting to watch, and it's just very beautiful too. I came up with this idea because during Halloween, I was sitting down watching Halloween movies with my little cousin when this one came on, and the idea just popped into my head. I thought it would be a very cool analysis to compare the two different works about the same, scientist and monster. I also used the psychoanalytic theory because I thought it would be the easiest one to use since I was comparing two characters and their responses to grief. For the research and writing process, finding sources was very easy when it came to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and the psychoanalytic theory. There were a lot to choose from. The only difficulty I ran into was trying to find a source for Tim Burton's Frankenweenie, since there aren't a whole lot out there. The one I did use ended up working very well in my essay. It was just finding it was the difficult part. The only thing I changed for my essay was the structure. When I first started writing, I used each work in each paragraph, and it was very overwhelming to read. So I did rewrite it, and it worked out a lot better. I talked about Mary Shelley's Frankenstein first, and then I went into Tim Burton's instead of just talking about both, and that worked out a lot better than it did when I first started writing. So a favorite aspect of mine in the paper was at the very end when I was comparing the two different versions of grief, or concluding my thoughts about it. In Shelley's Frankenstein, the scientist Victor Frankenstein just was in full denial. He was in complete disbelief of his monster and just absolutely hated it, whereas Tim Burton's Frankenstein accepted his monster and just hugged him and loved on him and was just very happy with his creation. So this is a passage from my paper. It states, Victor Frankenstein in Mary Shelley's novel reflects his grief and anger in his creation, who in turn is rejected in society. By Shelley's Frankenstein losing his mother at an early age and quickly moving on, by going off to school, he was not fully able to grieve his loss and cope in a healthy way. However, he tried to make up for it through science and bringing back the dead. He was not able to fully cope with his loss since he tried looking for answers about life and death instead, so when his creation came to life, he rejected it out of fear and disbelief. On the other hand, Burton's Frankenstein was coping in a healthier way as he was making friends and accepting that his dog was gone. He looked for answers through science and his creation out of pure love for Sparky. He was still able to cope and grieve for his loss with the support from his friends and family instead of only looking for answers through science. And this idea came from this scene alone, to be honest. It was probably one of my favorite scenes as it shows Victor's just pure love for his dog and how he accepted him back with open arms.
I'm sorry, boy. You're alive! I can't believe it! You're alive! I can fix that.
So as you can see, in Tim Burton's version, Victor welcomes his creation back just full of love and happiness, and he accepted him even though he did look like a monster. Whereas in Shelley's version, Victor was completely frightened by his own creation and just denied it and did not love it at all. So the main difference between the two versions, coping and grief, was love. Tim Burton's version, he brought his dog back out of an act of love, how he wanted to, live with him and he missed him so much. Whereas Victor was, in Mary Shelley's version, was just only ran by science. He just wanted to, learn the difference between life and death and ended up hating what he did. But that's it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.